And welcome to yet another Wellness Wheel Wednesday. Today I have Karen Sievwright. It rhymes with give right.
That's right.
So it's easy to remember for all those looking at the name and it's like, oh, how do I say that? Just remember to save this video if you don't have an opportunity to watch it live with us now. And if you can like both our pages, that'd be super awesome. We really appreciate that. And if you have a comment about chiropractic, torque release technique, or what Karen's going to be talking about in just a few minutes, then just type that in there and we'll get to it and we'll have a conversation about whatever you want to know. And otherwise, let's just get into it. So today I'm going to take it a little different. Generally when people, are in aches and pains, they seek a chiropractor, but, chiropractic has become this, most people think of chiropractic as a place where you get your bones cracked or crunched, and a lot of people don't mind that, and of course that's how I grew up in chiropractic. That's what I learned as a style of chiropractic and what I delivered to my patients for many years, this adjusting of moving the bones to get that loud noise coming out of it. But over the last 4.5 years, I've discovered a brand new technique that's called torque release technique. And it is really amazing. It is a tool-based. So right there, sometimes people have an opinion on tool-based chiropractic. So there's two tools out there, but this one is called an integrator and it's specific to torque release technique. And I'm going to tell you the reason why this technique is my favorite and why I absolutely love it and exclusively practice it, and why I made the transition. So chiropractic has always been based on the integrity of the spine, but because it's housing something super important in there, it's the central nervous system. So your brain and the spinal cord are the components of the central nervous system. But this spinal cord just isn't dangling in there. It's actually suspended. So I want you to think about a guitar or a violin. So if you took the strings off the guitar, can you play music on that guitar? No, it's useless. So when you put the strings back on the guitar, you have to put them on the bottom and tighten them at the top, and you have to tune them just so you got to get that right mechanical tension on the strings in order for that guitar to play beautiful music. The same concept happens with the way that this cord is suspended in there. There are ligaments at the top and at the bottom that suspend this cord, and they tune this central nervous system. So when the central nervous system is in that perfect balance, when it has that right nervous system tone, then we play nicely in between two important components of the nervous system. We have the stress response, so it's kind of like that gas pedal part of our nervous system, which is very important, but we also need the brake pedal portion of our nervous system, which is the parasympathetic, or the rest and relax. So exactly like driving a car, when you're driving in the city, you need both. You need to step on the gas and you need to step on the brake. But let's say life is throwing us a bunch of curveballs, and let's say we're sitting too long, or we trip and fall, or we're smoking, doing drugs, or drinking too much, or we have some emotional car accidents in life, like our relationships are failing, we have trouble with the kids or aging parents, or we lost our job. When we have these big deals, then it's like as if we're driving with the gas pedal on everywhere we're going. So in a car, if you're driving with the gas pedal everywhere you're going, it's not going to work. If there's a red light, you need to brake and you can't, there's going to be a problem with that. So when we do have one of those stress responses from the physical, chemical, or mental, emotional environment, it really does trip a stress response. And so now think of a cat when it's distressed, when it sees something scary, it arches its back. The same thing happens to us. We have this hyperreflexive flexion response, and it's instant. When we're in a stress response, you know it. It's not like it took like 5 minutes for your brain to communicate to your organs, oh, we're in a stress, we got to get out of here. It's instant. How does that instantaneous response to your heart, response to your lungs happen, and blood flows to your legs? It's based on the tone. So the nervous system is all electrical. So when this cord has that hyperreflexive flexion response, boom, it sends that stress signal to these organs, and that's how we instantly know we got to get out of here now. We got to either fight, flight, or freeze. And that's great. That's part of life. That's how you're gonna, you're gonna be great at stories. The more of these stress responses, great at parties, the more stress responses you have something to talk about. But the problem is if you get stuck in a stress response. So if we have a lot of stresses or repetitive stresses, then we're having an inability to get into that brake pedal portion of our nervous system. And that's when people really start to have yucky things happen. So the body has a secondary adaptive mechanism. They're called subluxations. So it's not as big, but I'll show you anyways. A little picture. So in the front to back point of view, what the body will start to do is it'll create postural faults. So that's when we see the high hip, the high shoulder, the rotated head, tilting, all these things. So these are postural is trying to get the tension back. So if we're not getting rid of that stress response, this clever design is like, oh, if I just tweak it this way, oh, that's better tone. Oh yeah, that's even better. Oh, that's better. So it creates these postural faults as a way to create better tone so that it has some ability to restore that balance between these two important systems. But it sacrifices the musculoskeletal system as a way to protect some vital organs. So that's why people, if they have particularly the recurring nature of a back pain, or if they have this chronic pain and they've gone to this person, and they just haven't been able to get over it, it's likely that they're stuck in this type of pattern. So what TRT does is if we don't address this high shoulder or this joint that's not working over here or this hip that's affected, it's part of it, and it's not that we don't care, but we talk to the ligaments that are suspending that cord. So if we can reestablish better tone, tuning the mechanical tension to get better mechanical tension, voila, that's the secret. It just works a little better, and it lasts longer. So people feel better, and they just feel better longer. But then that's twofold. So health is twofold. Yes, mandatory, take care of the tension, but it's also mandatory that you take care of the environment. So can you move better? Yeah, we can all move a little better. We can do smart exercise, so we can strengthen, stretch, and train cardiovascularly. Can we change our chemical environment? Totally. Let's stop smoking, drinking, and doing drugs. And if you need help with that, there's qualified people out there who can help you with that, but that is important to look at that. But also, can you eat better? Food is in the chemical environment, and we can all use a little tweak in our diet and maybe our supplementation. And then emotions. So if we're having some emotional car accidents and they don't seem to be changing, then it behooves you. You gotta take some action on that to start taking care of some of that emotional stress. Because if the stress in your environment isn't changing, then the back pain will likely also not change. So we got to do both. We got to take care of the tension, and we got to take care of the environment. And Karen, a wellness and lifestyle expert, can actually speak to all three of those. So she does teach Zumba, so she can certainly help you get into the physical. She is a USANA partner, so helping to maybe micromanage, but not in a bad way, just certain supplementations in order to help mood, help your disorders, and as well as mental, emotional. And I think the best way to introduce Karen is that she has her own personal story with illness, yucky, and what she did to overcome that. So I think who better than to share her personal story than Karen herself.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
So, I have a journey from, like you said, from feeling yucky to living the life I do now. And for those people who don't know, there's quite a few people who do follow your page who do know me as well. I was diagnosed in my 20s at the age of 27 with ulcerative colitis.
Oh, yeah, painful.
And I'm like, excuse me, I'm in my 20s here, right?
Life to live.
Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't have any energy. And then I received this diagnosis that I allowed to define me.
Yeah.
So now I became, woe is me, I have colitis, everyone should feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my identity for a really long time. Yeah. And I had 2 children at the time. I had another business. I also own a retail business. We own Spruce Park Ranch Country Store. So I'm building this and I'm trying to raise kids. And now it's like, bam.
Yeah.
You've just been told all that's over, right? Yeah. Like, it's like, what? So I ended up having another child. I had a third child, and I was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I was to the point where I had absolutely no energy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they think of colitis, they think of, oh, you need to know where the bathroom is every 5 minutes, or you're just you get bad stomach cramps. Well, it's so much more than that. And the first thing it affects is actually your energy.
Yeah.
It absolutely zaps you of anything where you feel like it's got to be something else that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, why can I not bring myself to do anything like it? Like, is it something here? Am I depressed? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I couldn't get myself from my living room to my bedroom to have a nap. And I had the 3 kids, and I would put a video on so that they would watch a movie over and over again because I had to sleep.
Yeah.
Now talk about mom guilt looking back. That's what I had to do to survive. Like it was like, I'm going to sleep here on the floor in the living room. You guys watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then when my husband would get home, it was like, I'm off to bed. Yeah. Because that's the way I lived.
Yeah.
Until one day someone said to me, do you realize that what you are living isn't normal?
Yeah.
To which I was like, who the hell do you think you are? I have colitis. It was like, this was my answer.
Yeah.
But the truth is she was right.
Yeah.
So I had to do something about it. And that's when I made the decision to take control of my health and do what I had to do to get better.
Yeah.
And that started by taking care of my digestive system.
Yeah.
That is where our immunity is.
Right.
That is where everything happens. It is the second brain of our system. It is
critical.
It is the critical
this
system.
Tube to this tube.
Absolutely. Right? It all has to go through.
Yeah.
And it is the number one system that I think people ignore.
I think they take it. Yeah. It's just especially if they don't have issues or perceived issues, they just assume that
that everything's working fine. Right.
Yeah.
So when you have back pain, you come and see Dr. Vera because you're like, I've got back pain. So you quit that. Now I'm feeling the pain. Now I go. Yeah. But people don't think about that everyday stuff. They don't stop and think about, geez, I'm feeling really bloated today, or my stomach is like, it's big and then it's small, and it's like, geez, today I can't go to the bathroom, and tomorrow I need the bathroom, or scary thing and true story. I've had clients who have come to me and we're talking about washroom habits because whatever, everybody poops. Sorry, that's how it works. But I've had people say to me, yeah, I go once a week. I go regularly.
Yeah. Ooh.
That might be their regular. And the truth is, if you don't know any different, you don't realize that something's not moving. Yeah. Therefore, you're storing toxins in your system that are not eliminating. When we have bad skin, a lot of people don't realize bad acne, and I suffered from extreme bad acne. I had scarring. I've got photos to prove it. And when I host skincare events and I teach people about nutrition and their skin, I actually bring them out and I show them, and they look and they go, "That's you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." When I wasn't taking care of myself. Yeah. Because if the toxins are not getting through your system, if you are not eliminating properly, if you don't have a good microbiome, it's gonna show up here. Yeah. And so many people run.
Skin is the, it's either, the way that toxins get eliminated is through breathing carbon dioxide. Yep. If we store that, you're not going to make it. Yes. Poop, all the stuff that we don't need from the food. And then skin. Skin is a, and it's the biggest organ. Skin is
your largest organ. So it's your first layer of defense.
Yeah. So if you're, it makes sense that if you're not going to the washroom, and it's going to come out in your skin.
Yeah, and even people who do go, I have a lot of people who, I go to the washroom regularly. That's great, but that doesn't mean your liver's working optimally to help you get rid of the systems. And our livers are so overloaded with stress, because that's that's our emotional house. We store everything there. The toxins in the air, the poisons in our food. Let's face it, there's poisons in our food.
Liver's a big deal.
It's a really big deal, and we're not taking care of that. So once I discovered that I did have the power to change what was going on, everything changed. And that's when I began running my Zumba fitness classes. Yeah. And it was something I wanted to do for myself. Yeah. I started running them on a schedule that allowed me, with 3 kids, to be able to go out and do it. Discovered a whole bunch of people also had the same scheduling issues, so therefore they were all showing up at, at my classes. And now I actually run some of the largest classes in the Stony Plain and Spruce Grove area. Wow. So we run that, and I do that because we need to be moving our bodies. You need to be moving your bodies to also help yourself feel good, get those endorphins endorphins going, and to also help move toxins out of your system as well. When we're sitting there, we're not pushing that stuff through. We're not breaking out a sweat. Our heart is not going. It's not pumping. Our bodies are designed to move. And if you're not moving them, well, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards.
So like you're either growing or you're dying.
Or you're dying.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
Great way to talk about the physical, like in those three components. That smart exercise, really, we got to strengthen, stretch, and cardiovascular. But you're right, it's like we can all move better. You got to break a sweat a little bit in order to challenge the body so that it's always growing. But then, that's right. It does enhance mood because our endorphins are getting released. So win, win, win.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about, so which do you do primarily? Do you do Zumba primarily, or do you help people with using USANA? And maybe speak to a little bit about that.
I would say it depends. It's sort of a little bit of a split. I do Zumba because I wanted fitness to be fun. Yeah. And that was the way I found it to be fun. And I'm one of those people that needs to be held accountable to go to the gym, as so many people do. Now, personally, I hate the gym. But to be held accountable, I started my own classes. So I go in and I teach the classes and we have people come. So that keeps me accountable and I love doing it. I can't imagine not shaking my groove thing every day, whether that's in my kitchen or, in one of the facilities. That's what I do. But besides that, imagine it. But I also work with USANA. I've actually incorporated them into a whole body detox program that I run. Yeah. And we've coined it "Shit Happens." So that's what we call it. So, but the whole body detox addresses a lot of those concerns that are going on and helps people discover a lot of the things that are happening that they didn't know were causing a problem. So, and we run this in the spring and the fall. This is when we run these, because those are the best time to take care of your system and do a detox. There are better times than others. And, sometimes people discover, wow, gluten was a problem for me. And they didn't know it till they reintroduced it. They didn't know dairy was a problem. Yeah. They didn't realize the number one, sugar. How much sugar was a problem. So we work on this journey for 30 days, and we do incorporate some of the USANA products into that are very focused on digestion and detox, very specific to that need. Probiotics, liver support, fish oil, those kinds of things to really make sure that everything is aligning as you're eliminating things that have been storing in there for a while. So that's what I do. Nice. And they're a balance, because one wouldn't be happening without the other.
Right. Well, that sounds super, it sounds great. It sounds definitely like we're addressing the physical environment by shaken, moving the body. It's motion is lotion, what I like to say. Yeah. Motion is lotion. And then addressing some chemical issues that, certainly supporting the body with other supplements is definitely helpful in order to give the body a chance to find that brake pedal so that we can restore that balance in between there. So Karen, is there something, do you have an event that's coming up? I think you were mentioning.
I do. Actually, every summer, this is the 6th annual Zumba in the Park that we run in Stony Plain. It is in support of the Parkland Food Bank. The summer is actually the lowest time for the food bank to receive donations. Okay. So we run this class. It's the first 4 Tuesdays in July, starting July 3rd. It's only $5 and a non-perishable food bank donation. We run rain or shine. Outside, we're at the park beside John Paul II in Stony Plain. If it happens to be raining, we go to Phoenix Taekwondo, which is our home location in Stony Plain. It's a big event. We have been raising between 700 and 800 pounds of food every summer. So we're looking forward to it. This is the 6th annual event, and it has been a big class going on. It's really well perceived by the community.
What time is that?
6:30. Sorry, runs Tuesdays at 6:30.
Tuesday night. Oh,
Tuesday nights at 6:30, starting July 3rd, and this is the first 4 Tuesdays in July.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Karen, for sharing that information. I hope all of you can at least make it out to one of those.
It's so much fun.
Zumba, it does sound like fun. At least just shake it. Even if you don't like dancing, maybe just to watch.
You don't need to dance. It's not about dance. It's about moving.
Just move.
Just move.
Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Next week we have Rita Ann Fuss, and she is a Fifth Avenue jewelry. So again, addressing a little bit more of the mental emotional and how we can maybe bridge the gap if we're not feeling good about ourselves, in particular women, how we can bridge the gap to living that person that we want to be with, you know, just feeling pretty on the outside. And maybe jewelry can help do that as we're bridging the gap. Okay, so tune in next week. See you guys. Bye.